Let's be honest, we've all been there, staring at that shower door, just totally defeated by that cloudy white film that it just won't go away. You've used the sprays, you've scrubbed until your arms hurt, and for what? A day or two of clarity before the haze comes right back? But what if I told you that you're not failing? What if the products you're using are actually designed to fail? So that's the big question, right? Why is it impossible to get that glass truly deeply clean? Well, we're about to dig into a story that's been kind of swept under the rug for almost 80 years. And it turns out the solution isn't in the cleaning aisle. It's probably already in your kitchen. Okay, so let's just rip the Band-Aid off. The cleaning industry has built a literal empire on this very problem. That haze on your glass door, it's not a bug, it's a feature. It's a recurring revenue stream that keeps you coming back for more, buying products that only put a temporary gloss on a much deeper issue. To really get what's going on, we have to travel back in time, not to some fancy modern laboratory, but all the way back to 1944, where a simple discovery was made, and then promptly buried, at least from the public. Now check out this timeline. It's kind of wild. 1944, a chemist named Harold Simmons figures out this super simple, super effective way to just obliterate mineral scale. By 1946, heavy industry, we're talking steel mills, power plants, they're all over it. Why? Because it had a 98% success rate. But for you and me, we had to wait until 2012 for this stuff to even start popping up on random blogs. And here's the kicker, right from the man himself. Simmons wrote in his own lab notes that the whole process was embarrassingly simple. No complicated chemistry, no fancy gear, it was just a cheap, powerful fix that worked like a charm. You could say it was a little too simple and way too cheap to ever be sold in a bottle. So before we get to the solution, you have to understand the problem. And I mean the real scientific problem, because that cloudy film isn't just sitting on top of your glass. It's way more stubborn than that. So you probably think of glass as this perfectly smooth, solid thing, right? Well, it's not. A study from the University of Bath actually showed that all those hot showers you take cause these tiny microscopic pores to open up on the surface of the glass. And with every shower, more and more minerals from your water get trapped inside. And here's where it gets even worse. Through a process called ionic adhesion, those minerals, think calcium and magnesium, don't just sit in the pores. They form a chemical bond with the glass. They get embedded. Think about that for a second. You're not just trying to wipe something off the glass, you're trying to remove something that has literally become a part of the glass. And this is why those store-bought cleaners never work long-term. They're basically just surface cleaners. They're not chemically equipped to break those powerful ionic bonds and pull the minerals out. So yeah, they might give you a nice shine for a day, but the gunk is still in there, just waiting to reappear. All right, if the science is so clear, why isn't this simple solution on every shelf? Well, there are about 9 billion reasons, and every single one of them is $1. It's time to follow the money. First, just wrap your head around this number. In the US alone, the household cleaning industry is a $31 billion a year machine. That is a gigantic market that absolutely depends on you being a repeat customer, over and over again. Now look at this. Of that massive $31 billion, a staggering $9 billion, almost a third, comes just from shower and bathroom cleaners. An entire segment of this huge industry is built on your frustration with that cloudy glass door. Now, remember when that little DIY solution started popping up online back in 2012? Well, get this. Between 2012 and 2020, sales of so-called premium shower cleaners jumped by 42%. It's almost as if, when the free secrets started to get out, the industry had to push its expensive, ineffective products even harder. So this really lays it all out, doesn't it? On one side, you have the industry's business model. It relies on you buying their patented formulas every single week, which fuels a $9 billion market. On the other side, a one-time fix with cheap pantry items that you can't patent. One model makes a fortune, the other disrupts that entire fortune. Okay, enough doom and gloom about the problem. Let's get to the good stuff. This is the part you've been waiting for. Here is the exact 4-minute trick that completely flips the script. So the science here is something called a chelation reaction. That's just a fancy term for a chemical team-up. The American Chemical Society found that when you mix these two specific acids, they basically join forces, surround those mineral ions that are stuck in the glass, and just yank them right out. And get this, their research showed it removes 94% of the buildup in just 4 minutes. And here it is, the big secret. You're gonna laugh. You just mix some cream of tartar with a little white vinegar until you get a paste. Slap that paste on the glass, go make a cup of coffee for 4 minutes, then come back and wipe it off. That's it. Seriously, if your door is really bad, you might have to do it twice. You've got to hear this story. This homeowner in Phoenix was told her shower door was permanently damaged and was quoted over $800 to replace it. She tried everything, but then she tried this simple paste, which cost less than $2, and after 2 tries, it was crystal clear, brand new. And that's really the bottom line, isn't it? An $800 replacement based on the lie of permanent damage versus a $2 restoration with stuff from your kitchen. The damage was never permanent. The minerals were just stuck. So, there you have it. You now possess this knowledge. And once you see it, you kind of can't unsee it. That cleaning aisle at the grocery store is never going to look the same again, is it?
And oh, it gets even deeper. It's not just the cleaning sprays. There's another $2 billion industry out there selling you expensive protective coatings and shield products. Their entire business model just crumbles the second you realize you don't need to protect your glass. You just need to know how to actually clean it.
So let's just recap what you've learned. Your new toolkit isn't a bunch of plastic bottles under the sink. It's 2 simple ingredients, 4 minutes of your time, a little bit of science, and most importantly, the knowledge that a whole industry was hoping you'd never find. And that really just leaves us with one last big question to think about. This fix, for what seems like an impossible problem, costs pennies. It makes you stop and wonder, doesn't it? What else are we all overpaying for? Just because the simple secret is still buried.